Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely flip the way you think about ancient traditions. We're decoding ancient mantras. But look, we aren't treating them as religious poems or just simple prayers. Instead, we're diving into them as highly specific, meticulously crafted acoustic science. Seriously, if you've ever thought a mantra was just, a nice sequence of words to make you feel good, well, prepare to have your entire perspective rewired. Because understanding how ancient cultures literally mastered sound frequencies, it totally changes how you look at human history. So let's start with a really foundational question to ground this whole concept in our everyday reality. Can a simple sound physically change your biology? Just think about that for a second. Think about how the everyday sounds around you physically alter your mood, your energy levels, maybe even the tension in your shoulders right now. Sound isn't just something we passively hear. It is a profound physical force. It interacts with us on a deeply biological level, triggering real, undeniable physiological responses. Think about it. Words of praise, they physically generate joy. They bring a spontaneous smile to your face and instantly boost your energy. Your body relaxes, your breathing actually slows down. But on the flip side, harsh insults totally agitate our nervous system. Our heart rate spikes, we feel that physical heat and anger. There's actually a fascinating historical example of this immense physical power. Take the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata. It was literally the harsh, bitter words spoken by Draupadi that sparked that devastating, monumental war. Sound has immense, tangible power. It's a force that can literally start wars or bring about profound peace, purely based on the vibrations we generate. All right, moving to section 1, mantras, science, not poetry. Here is the absolute core thesis of this explainer. We have to completely strip away the poetic romance we usually associate with ancient chants. A mantra is a precise acoustic formula. It's a highly intentional architecture of sound specifically designed to create an exact physical frequency. The ancient creators of these mantras, they weren't just trying to write a beautiful poem to convey an emotional message. Not at all. They focused entirely on how letters were sequenced to build a very specific sonic pathway. They mathematically prioritized the physical vibration over the emotional meaning of the words. It's pure engineering, plain and simple. To really wrap our heads around this, imagine a sitar, that beautiful traditional stringed instrument. Think of the strings as the chosen sequence of words in a mantra. Now, just stringing the instrument doesn't magically produce music, right? The raw materials alone just don't cut it. You absolutely need the precise finger movements of a master musician. In this analogy, those finger movements are the exact physical pronunciation, the strict rhythm, and the breath control of the chanter. It's the flawless mechanical combination of the strings and that highly disciplined physical movement that actually produces the melody. Or, in the case of a mantra, the resulting cosmic frequency. It's like cutting a piece of metal. How you cut it dictates the exact sound it makes when struck. Arranging the words and pronouncing them with strict biomechanical rules creates an unavoidable, highly targeted acoustic wave. Which brings us to section 2, the Gayatri Mantra anomaly. To see this acoustic engineering in action, we're going to look at one of the most famous chants in the world. And this perfectly proves how sound completely trumps grammar. If you look at the literal translation of the Gayatri Mantra, the meaning is actually pretty simple. It's basically a straightforward request to the divine for good intellect, or sat buddhi. Now, the ancient Vedas, and honestly so many other traditions, are absolutely packed with beautiful poems that ask for the exact same thing. If mantras were only about their literal meaning or their poetic intent, the Gayatri Mantra wouldn't be unique at all. It would just be another poem in the pile. But, spoiler alert, it's not. Now I want you to consider the number 23. Why 23? Well, the Gayatri Mantra is supposed to be written in the strict Gayatri meter. This is an ancient poetic structure that explicitly requires exactly 24 syllables, 3 lines, 8 syllables each. It is a rigid mathematical formula. But the actual mantra, exactly as it was written and strictly passed down for thousands of years, contains a glaring metric flaw. It only has 23 syllables. For an ancient tradition that completely prides itself on mathematical and structural perfection, missing a syllable is a massive grammatical error. So how did the ancient creators fix this? Did they just rewrite the poem to make grammatical sense and neatly fill out the meter? No way! The 24th syllable is artificially stretched during pronunciation. They took a syllable and forced the chanter to drag it out for an unnatural duration, just to maintain the targeted acoustic frequency. They were fully aware of this grammatical flaw, but they purposely kept it intact. Why? Because maintaining that precise sound flow and the exact vibrational output was far, far more important to them than poetic perfection. The acoustic science completely overruled the poetry. Let's move on to section 3, rewiring the human body. So, what do these hyperspecific sound waves actually do when you generate them? How do they interact directly with human anatomy? Well, it all starts right here in the physical realm. Step 1. When you chant, your throat, your tongue, your palate, they all have to make highly specific movements. This deliberate physical pronunciation creates localized turbulence inside your own head and chest. Then, moving to step 2, this powerful turbulence stimulates the subtle energy centers of the body, which you probably know as chakras. And finally, step 3, the vibrations reach deep into the subtle body to activate the nadis, specifically the Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna, which act as our internal electrical pathways. So, the acoustic sequence of a mantra literally sends a carefully engineered electrical current straight through your nervous system. There's actually a brilliant ancient principle that perfectly captures this biological priority. It goes like this. A fire heats its origin point first before spreading its warmth outward into the next area. This perfectly explains the sequential nature of acoustic energy. Before a mantra can change the universe, before it can affect a single thing externally, it fundamentally transforms the chanter's own personality, nervous system, and physical state. The origin point, meaning the human body generating the sound, is the very first thing to be rewired and systematically upgraded by the heat of that acoustic fire. And finally, section 4, cosmic radio waves. So let's explore what happens after that origin point is heated and primed. The action of a mantra is actually dual-phased. First, we have the internal phase, where physical pronunciation rewires the personality and the subtle body, just like we talked about. But then we have the external phase. The vibration doesn't just stay trapped inside you. Once the body's pathways are fully activated, your body acts as a bridge between the physical world and the subtle universe. The action here is frequency broadcasting, and the impact is that it actually alters specific circumstances in the subtle world to bring about the intended results of the practice. It's exactly like radio waves. Mantra vibrations broadcast out into space, targeting specific receivers in the cosmos. Think about the mechanics of a radio station for a second. A radio transmitter sits in a station and sends out entirely invisible waves, right? Those waves travel for miles and miles until they're picked up and translated by a precisely tuned antenna. The acoustics of a mantra work on that exact same mechanical principle. These precise, ritual-backed frequencies travel through space and are designed to strike very specific targets in the subtle world. It's a highly targeted broadcast of acoustic energy, and it was engineered thousands of years before anyone even dreamed up modern radio. Which brings us to the end of this explainer. We've just seen that sound isn't just noise. It's a highly engineered physical force, fully capable of altering human biology and broadcasting powerful frequencies into the cosmos. So I want to leave you with a pretty powerful thought to chew on. If ancient sound science is real, if our words act exactly like radio waves, what frequencies are you broadcasting into the world today? Are you transmitting harmony, or are you accidentally sparking your own internal battles with the careless sounds you make? Definitely keep that in mind the next time you speak. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.